truly want us to. Oh, look at that. Look who's live. Da 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 da. Oh, god damn it. I keep doing that. Fucking hate McDonald's. Shit is stuck in my head and it's annoying the piss out of me. Okay. Why can I not pull it up? Oh, because I'm in the midst of updating YouTube. Okay. I can't join the live chat because I decided to update my apps on my iPad. Whoops. All right. Please forgive us, everyone at home, for a moment as we get ready to launch into what I'm sure will be very entertaining of a show. Speaking of which, are we ready to begin?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
10 across the board.
RuPaul Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, it's April 16th, 2018, and welcome to Cubs Out Loud Drag Race T-Time, Season 10, Episode number 4. If those of you are just joining us for the first time, welcome to our lovely little video blog chat show. I happen to be Gary, and with me is my ever fabulous co-host,
Buzz Lightyear. I'm Chester. Hi.
And with us is our extra special guest host this week.
Smashy. Hi.
So
By the way,
Smash-
Chester, I love that hoodie.
Yeah, Smashy's with us this week. We're very unconventional. I'm gonna own it. I'm not in my usual garb and all the rest of it, but that's okay.
You
So,
have
yeah.
reasons why. So do I.
Yeah, we're recovering from a weekend of debauchery, or at least for some it was debaucherous. But more about that next week on our regular show.
I want to say something about that really quick.
Okay.
I wish that I would have watched the episode on Thursday night when this aired, because I would have been making references all weekend long at Dredged Fur.
Oh.
Given that it was a space theme and the ball was a space theme. Sort of.
Yeah,
Martian part.
Yeah, one part was it would have tied in nicely. But that being said, at our event we did actually get one of the best impromptu moments to happen by a certain drag queen named Karen, the Karen for Cox. When she decided to say out loud in a ballroom with almost 250 gay men, Miss Vanjie.
Oh, he's the one who did that?
Yes.
Well, I heard it. I just didn't know where it came from.
Oh, yeah. She owned it later when she talked to me. And then the whole ballroom suddenly goes, Miss Vanjie. Miss Vanjie. I was like, oh, no.
So that's what that was. I thought I heard voices all the way up in Canada. Just the Miss Vanjie. I was like, fuck, is Pennywise outside?
Oh, it was
that
hysterical.
even made Dane laugh, because Dane doesn't watch Drag Race. But he had asked what that whole Miss Vanjie meme is about, so I had to explain it to him. And even when that happened, even Dane laughed because he got it.
Right, and best part yet, it comes back in this episode 4 in the workroom, so we know it's legitimately a thing. It is not just episode 1. It is it is now legacy. That being said, we should jump in and start talking about this episode, because that's what people came here to watch and listen to us, right?
Woo!
Put the bass in your walk.
All right, it's mini maxi time discussion. So Smashy as our guest, why don't you start us off and tell us what your thoughts were on this week's episode, which had no mini challenge because it was the mega, well, maxi challenge. 3 outfits to be made on the runway. Global warming is real, children. And Mama Roo is taking politics and smashing it with pop culture. So we're going to have a ball, right? Because that's what I guess we do. Like, that's what drag queens do when the world's coming to an end. We're going to go have a ball.
Well, if you can't do anything else, fuck, may as
Right.
well.
I guess if the world is coming to an end, you should at least be able to turn lurks. I mean, like, I'm like, okay, this completely makes sense in a nonsensical way. So, why don't you tell us, Meshy, what you thought of the Maxi Challenge?
Well, I thought the maxi challenge was. I'm surprised they're pulling this out this early. This between this and Best Drag on episode 2, it's been a big surprise for they're going for all of the big stuff up front, which makes me wonder what the hell they have planned for when it gets down to like top 5, top 4. Like, how are you going to go above what's already been done? Although, given the Best Drag on season 2, I don't think, or on episode 2, I don't think that's going to be that fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's a valid point that you bring, that we're not even halfway through the season yet, and they, as the production company and us as the audience, are now being pushed to see things that we think would come later on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you are bringing that up because Gary had said the very first episode that this is season 10 and they're pushing that, it's supposed to be a huge season and 10s across the board and everything else like that. So far, it hasn't
It's been
my
a solid,
attention hasn't been snatched.
it's been a solid maybe 7 for the most part, like on average. But I wouldn't say 10s yet. Maybe like a couple of 10s, but not nearly enough to cover all 14.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on hearing like 8 or something, like not 10s. No, not 10s across the
Dress
board.
to the 8s.
Oh, well, that could be true, yeah. Was there anything in particular, Smashy, that stood out to you in terms of the Maxi Challenge, like that you thought was good stuff, not so good stuff? Was it kind of trite? Because I know people feel, turning looks is, yes, it's what drag queens do, and it's expected. But okay, so we broke away from acting challenges, so it's purely a craft and sewing challenge, I guess, this week.
Well, I really like is that this episode gives us more of a chance to get to know the queens without the big tearjerker story that usually happens when we get to know the queens. So this episode I found was a bit more lighthearted. Okay, with one major exception of Asia basically being an orphan at this point. But for the most part, it's been, it's not the standout episode of the season, which really is a shame because it's a ball. It should be the standout. But it's just like, okay, I'll watch this. I haven't watched this I've only watched this once because my attention was not grabbed like so much to give it another shot yet. That and a lot of work I've been doing.
It's interesting that you say that. I only watched it once, like literally in the past 2.5 hours, because I had a very busy past week. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm going to cram it in and watch it. Now, I will say this. Thank the maker for iTunes without commercials, because I just zipped straight through, boom, 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 and straight from the episode right into Untucked. And so what's weird to me is that it didn't feel like there was a lot to absorb. And so, like, I didn't feel like, oh, I got to go back and watch it a second time or even a third time to catch things or understand stuff. It was pretty formulaic and straightforward. At least as far as I was concerned in that case. Chester, was there anything in particular about the Maxi Challenge that you had thoughts on?
No, just some of the girls' looks looked really great. Some of them were not so great. But then lots of people fell in the middle, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So standard episode.
Yeah, it I don't know. I was kind of okay. I don't know how else to say it. I wasn't disappointed. I don't want to say it was a filler episode, but it kind of felt like one. That makes sense.
It's about as much of a filler as Calorie.
I'm just gonna let that go.
Hey, I called her breadcrumb from the end of the first Untucked.
Speaking of Untucked, how about we talk about that, shall we?
Oh God!
You're not watching Untucked. You're only getting half the story.
Okay, so Smashy, what do you got to say about Untucked?
This Untucked was way more interesting than the episode. I hope that your fan is in there.
No,
because I can't find mine. Fuck.
Chester will understand this in a brief moment, as will some other people.
Oh, popcorn.
Oh, that's what that is. I thought, aren't you taking the wrapper off? Okay, so
I'm gonna
this
mute my
Untucked.
mic.
Cherry flavored popcorn. It is cherry, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I was wondering what would happen on this Untucked after last week's, which was so important and so massive and said a huge deal about how drag race fans of color how queens of color are treated by, white drag race fans and optics and things like that. And then there's this shit show, which really, really, really made me, reminded me why Eureka is there. Because Eureka poked the vixen. The vixen screamed. Eureka screamed. Monique just kind of hid. Same with whoever else was back there. And then, I'm going to get a cigarette. No, we're going to fight again. And the whole thing is, this proves Eureka's strategy. Her strategy of, I'm going to annoy the shit out of people to throw them off their game. That's why she was there in season 9 with Trinity, and then now she's here, and she just, when she walks off with Mayhem, and she says, yeah, I know what bugs her now. That's all, it was all strategy. And I'm like, girl. That's where I was. I was just shaking my head and just, girl.
I'm sorry. I wished I'd had this big ass bag of popcorn on the couch earlier this evening when I was watching Untucked, because I was like, I was like, fuck, it's the Wimbledon of drag girls. Like, they're just, yeah. I was like, oh no shit. And and that, poke. All right, got it. Like, they are just having one of the worst conversations in drag history, not really listening, lots of talking at each other instead of to each other. Yeah.
I haven't seen that much screaming since Fifi and Willem.
I kind of just stopped listening to it because there was really nothing to listen to except for two cats fucking. But I was trying to say this last week when, this whole debacle started with, was it last week? Yeah, Vixen and Aquaria. they were all sitting in the lounge, chilling, chatting. Eureka said something, and immediately the vixen went very defensive. And what I rewatched that little tiny bit like 4 times in a row just to make sure I was hearing exactly what it was that I was hearing. And Eureka is giving her a compliment. And the vixen turns around and goes off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you.
Yeah, it wasn't even a Southern insult where, you know, they wrap it in a compliment.
Right. It was, hey, I'm not good at being crafty like you are. And she's just starts going off at her over that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm done with you. Nobody can say anything without you getting defensive and coming back at them for it.
Right.
Go back to Michael's where you belong.
I felt bad for the vixen because in watching it only once, it started to become abundantly clear that she makes presumptions and acts upon those presumptions. And we all do, I think, as humans, but it was more clear at this point. And I feel that in some ways, past comments I may have made can be viewed as like not making excuses for her, but trying to understand her. And this kind of went in the other direction. And it's not that I think ill of her. I just feel that, especially because you get to see the Eureka side of it with Mayhem and this whole conversation, and Eureka flat out saying in front of the camera as they've walked away and presuming that the vixen is not an earshot. She says, I've tested her. I did that on purpose to see how she would react. And I went, oh. So there is some gameplay going on. There is some personality testing going on. And I was like, I don't know if I like Eureka for this or not, but yeah, very interesting.
I just have one question about the whole setup they have, about the whole stage setup. How good is the soundproofing that no one at the main stage would have heard all of that shit?
Well, they're quite a distance away. You could tell by when on the Untucked episodes when they were behind the scenes that they have to come down some steps, walk, I would say probably 25 yards or so, and then into a whole nother room. I can't imagine that sound travels that much.
And recall that it's been said publicly, Rue and Michelle have talked about that season 10 was uniquely recorded in, what is it? I think it's in Death Valley outside of LA. And then a recent episode of their podcast, they said they revealed why. Apparently Netflix has bought up almost all the studio time in LA for producing things.
Wow.
Whether they really need it or not. And it has really kind of screwed the industry a little bit for interior filming because they have to either pay a higher price in some places or they just have to go outside. And that's what had happened was when they went to record season 10, apparently they couldn't stay in their traditional location because it just wasn't available. So the change up of a location and the style of some of the shooting was purely circumstantial. It wasn't that they were trying to change it up for season 10. And that makes a little more sense to me also as to why the workroom changed. Like, yeah, they gave it a fresh coat of paint, quote unquote, for season 10, but I'm like, you were in a whole new space. And so maybe you took advantage of that and decided since you're going to have so many queens and then you need so much room and you might have gotten a bigger studio, just expand it. And what you're saying, Smashy, about how far away they are and the sound in that, I don't know. Like when they were going at it, there was a brief, like twice, like just for like a briefest, like part of a second, I was like, is anybody gonna step in and say something? Like, the production staff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was pretty sure it was coming super close to like a fisticuff. I was
waiting.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have been Eureka that threw it first.
No, but I could see her getting her loaf snatched.
You mean her diamond? Her elephant-sized headdress?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting. I yet again, needed to pop the popcorn and like watch what was happening because the entire Untucked was pretty much eaten up by that thing. And like, the other queens kind of come back, but there's not a whole lot to discuss. I mean, they cut straight to the chase. They're like, yeah, it's going to be the two of us in the bottom. So I was like, it was kind of like bing, bang, boom. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say in regards to Untucked, Chester?
No, but I am waiting for the memes of who is sitting. I'm waiting for the memes of Blair St. Clair sitting on the couch, just minding her business, letting all that shit happen. It's kind of like Trinity, or was it Trinity last season, where she was just sitting there with her drink?
Oh, well, yeah, Trinity served it better though, because Trinity Taylor is just sitting there with a straw, and that was the best gif ever, because it's like just her
back and forth.
Yeah, with her sipping and her eyes going left, right, left, right. Like when that happened in the episode, I was like, she is serving.
But yeah, there's a wide shot of Eureka and the Vixen, like head to head, and over on the right hand, on the right hand side of the screen is the couch, and Blair St. Clair is just sitting there, like totally motionless.
I will say this. I want to jump back to the actual episode out of Untucked. I lost it. I didn't fall off the couch, but I did lose it when Ms. Cracker breaks the fourth wall and talks right to camera and says, for the record, I am not saying that I don't want a sugar daddy. If any of you out there would like to be my sugar daddy, she just... I was like, yes, girl. She's like, you got money? You call me. I was like, when has that happened? I don't know if that's ever happened in 10 seasons that a queen talked directly straight into camera and they used it and it was part of the normal show. I don't know if that's happened before.
It's been happening quite often this season. If you remember the second episode, the Vixen held up her little sheet to the camera.
Oh, well, that's true. She did kind of.
I think that's still fourth wall.
Yeah, it is. And there are moments, where they look right at camera and they eye roll or whatever. But girl, she got airtime. She got literal seconds of airtime. She got money time.
Right.
Like, advertisers paid for that. I mean, I know there's Christian Mingle. Is there like a sugardaddy.com or something out there that could have sponsored that moment? I mean,
Daddy Hunt.
Maybe. I don't know if Daddy Hunt really qualifies, but yeah.
No.
Untucked was interesting. And what I found really interesting more so, was it me or did it seem like the fight didn't happen once the other girls got back? Like the queens that then joined those that were safe. It's like it never got brought up.
Right. Well, that's also because when Eureka came back into the room, she owned up to her making that comment. And she's like, look, I made a comment and it made you mad, and I'm sorry for that. So they buried the hatch.
I
So to
guess. I don't think the hatch has been buried.
speak.
Maybe.
I think one of those bitches is going to trip on it in the runway next week.
And Philip says in live chat, it was over by the time they came back, and everyone acted like it wasn't worth mentioning.
Because it really wasn't.
Oh, but I think it is. So I'm going to bring this up, and I know it's probably going to be dicey. Anyone else pay attention to the fact that it was 3 black queens and 1 white queen?
No.
And that it was the white queen that was kind of looking on the outs in the argument? That stood out to me so much, like, awkwardly. And that Mayhem was really trying hard to be like neutral Switzerland.
Oh, right.
And then Eureka was like, you want to go back with me? And that at that moment, I think Mayhem genuinely was just naturally like, sure, girl, I'll go with you. But then it escalated and it escalated. And then at that point, it was more like, I felt Eureka was kind of treating Mayhem like, bitch, now you're mine. You're my sidekick. You're my girl. Like, if this is West Side Story, we out as a posse and we'll be back. And I was just like, whoa, like this is very strange to me.
Mayhem's eyes looked very similar to, say, a deer in headlights at that point. Basically, because she didn't want Eureka to probably hit her at that point for not going for a smoke. Like, that's panic. That was absolute panic right there.
I also find it interesting that Mayhem goes with Eureka to talk to her kind of as counselor, I guess you want to say, because we don't see Mayhem smoking. It's just Eureka that's smoking, not Mayhem. So I don't know. And maybe WoW, Presents has a new rule. WoW, Productions has a new rule that no queen can go off by themselves. Like camera time always has to be 2 queens together. Maybe that's kind of what this is about, because now Calorie's not around for Eureka to go smoking with.
Could be.
Well, how good is filming one person just standing there smoking? For entertainment value, it's probably boring as F. But enough of that. Are we ready to move on to snaps and eye rolls?
Mm-hmm.
Time has come. Read your lip sync for your life. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. So snaps and eye rolls, for those of you that are kind of new to this, snaps are for the things that we really enjoyed, and eye rolls are for the really girl kind of moments. Smashy, who do you have snaps for from this episode?
Who do I have snaps for? I have snaps for Miss Cracker, but I always have snaps for Miss Cracker. Her outfits were fantastic, and even the judges said that she was perfect. I especially like the future one with the it was total classic, space girl chic. I absolutely loved it. Eye rolls. I think my eye roll goes to, well, I know she was in the bottom. I'm going to say Asia. She's a lovely person, but those outfits were kind of, they were missing some cohesion. And I don't think, even if, her time wasn't managed well, I don't know if she would have been able to really pull it off. Also, eye rolls at the judges for putting Dusty at the bottom, or so far at the bottom. I wouldn't have had her at the bottom, but I wouldn't have had her lip sync.
Do
All right.
you think they took into consideration that Asia had helped everybody?
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's why Dusty got pushed down.
Yeah. No, I know that's exactly the reason why. I just think that they could have done better to her. There could have been somebody else who could have been like the sacrifice on that one.
Well, so I do not think Asia got saved because she helped everyone else. I think we saw for the first time in this season, cumulative was taken into account. I think the judges, specifically Rue, want to see more from this queen and are willing to give her a like one shot, girl, get your shit together, like kind of saving. And if she doesn't get it together next episode, she gone. That's my outlook on this right now, because I was a little surprised she wasn't bottom two. Like, I get that she, tears on the runway, explaining things, yet being very pageant, like keeping her head up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a part of me that like it was heartbreaking to see that she knew she was falling apart, like that she had not necessarily done well, and that the judges were not happy with her, and they also completely know what happened. Meaning, I mean, I was proud of all the girls for standing up and saying, yes, absolutely, she helped every single one of us.
Yeah.
And so that explains the sub storyline about the whole like mother of the workroom thing. Because I found that very interesting that they kept focusing on that earlier in the episode. And I thought, all right, we get it. You're building her up to be Miss Congeniality / fan favorite, whatever the hell it's going to be called this year. But I was a little annoyed by that. And then the payoff comes on judges' critiques. And I was like, we have to make it abundantly clear to the audience, us watching it, why all this comes around. Like, storyline wise, she helped everybody else, didn't focus on herself. Her outfit showed it. Therefore, and everyone, nobody throws her on the bus. So
Ginger T-Time in our chat said, yeah, it was a real turnaround from All Stars.
BB.
Ew, funny that.
Out of respect for BB.
I can't believe you. Wow. Oh, that was shady.
I
And
don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
a perfect callback. Wow. She had that coming. Chester, any snaps or eye rolls of comment or of note for you? It's
I
okay
did
if you
not
don't.
really care for Rue's overall runway look. I understand that it was Lee Bowery Ballroom. Totally got that. As soon as I saw her,
Right.
It's just something about it just didn't gel with me. And I think you said it in the pre-show or very early on in our show that she's never done it before. So why in the hell now?
Why not? It is something that was really unexpected from her. And
honestly,
who knows?
You want to know what I think what it was? Is I have a feeling that she's been really sick or something. Because if you notice, and I said this last episode, she's just not talking the same when she enters the workroom. Especially this last episode, she opens up the door and goes, "Hello, hello, hello." There was like no emphasis at all.
I believe.
Huh?
I was going to say, I believe, Chester, not to interrupt, I believe the new location, weather-wise, really kind of messed with her, like, and that she just legitimately got sick. And my concern is, how many weeks, like, how long are we going to be dealing with a sick host? Last week was really bad, in my opinion, even the dubs and that kind of stuff. This week, the beginning discussion, it seemed really authentically her in the workroom having that voice, but also notably in that outfit, she's wearing darker retro style sunglasses, and I think they're hiding some not prettiness.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. And I have a feeling that's why she had this big ass fucking mask on her eyes, is because they were hiding her eyes for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We may never know.
And that weird raven lip thing. Like, I know it's Lee Bowery, like to have an exaggerated mouth kind of thing, but there was a part of me that was like, are we trying to look like Amanda Lepore?
Yeah.
And we fucked it up. Like, I was just a little thrown off. Now, I will say this, because I was saying in the pre-show before we started going live that, obviously kind of I had mentioned we had a very last busy week. Chester and I were away at an event, and so we didn't get to see it live. I muted our COL Drag Race discussion on Telegram or social chat, so I haven't even caught up yet. And I don't know, it's like 130 comments or something I haven't read yet. But what I did catch through Facebook is that apparently there's this like conspiracy theory that the introduction of the judges was not RuPaul. Like, who walks out by themselves and introduces the judges is not actually Ru. That was a dub, and it was a double. I found that very interesting. So that because I knew that going into it, and I was watching. And yes, absolutely, the body mannerisms and stuff looked a little off. And it's not just the outfit. So I'm wondering if they were pulling a stunt. Just for that moment. I do think it was actually legitimately RuPaul on the judges panel, like in between Ross and Michelle. But I don't know. Did you guys notice anything about that, or do you?
No, but now that you mention it, I'm going to go back and really look at it.
Yeah, I figure I'll watch it again once I'm done doing all the stuff that's been keeping me occupied for the last week and a half.
I found it very interesting, and I have my own suggestion. If this is a true conspiracy theory, I have my suggestion as to who the stunt double was. But we'll see, because it was like, wow, it looks like a really good likeness, but not quite. It's almost like, yeah, I know a better Cher impersonator of Cher than I know of whoever this is impersonating Ru, but that's just me. Either that, or she just really was so damn sick, that it just affected everything in that case. For me, I want to give snaps at recognition to Cameron Michaels. I'm sorry, but I thought Cameron looked fucking amazing.
I thought so too.
And I was shocked that she didn't win. I'm also shocked that Aquaria won.
Yeah, especially after pulling the whole, hey, cover your crotch with like paper or something. That bitch didn't even cover.
I don't understand the judge's comment that she had the most cohesive looks. What?
Adhesive, baby, not cohesive.
I don't understand how look 1 to look 2 to look 3 translates as the exact same person every single time. I didn't. 1 and 3, kinda. Not 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. I didn't understand it. I was very flabbergasted by it. I thought Ms. Cracker did a really great job. I was expecting something to happen with the tanks on her back. Like, I thought there was like a reveal or something, because it looked like she was reaching, and I thought like maybe there's a trap door and like a little capelet was gonna fall out, or I don't know. like she was gonna shoot glitter. Yeah, something. So
over in our live chat, Ginger T-Time had said, I thought this was going to be her episode. I believe Ginger is referring to Cameron. And Philip had said Aquarius should not have been the top.
yeah, I mean, I was not impressed by the zigzag lightning bolt quilted pattern fabric cutout thing. Like, we should have known that she was going to win, because I think it's Miss Cracker says, everybody knows you do not walk out there in a bra and panties with shit attached to it and expect to win. and then she breaks the rule apparently and does or something. I don't know. So yeah, it that was kind of the surprise for me. I will admit that Asia's looks were a little underwhelming, especially her very first one. It was so, that's the only word that comes to mind, and that's not the right word. It was so basic, like slash
Preschool.
pedestrian. Oh yeah, preschool is actually like way better. I was just like, girl, you're wearing like a chocolate colored, leotard with pom poms on it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was disappointing to say the least.
Yeah. So Asia, I know this was shot a year ago, but if this is your one shot, like Gary mentioned, this is your one shot of adrenaline.
There was no adrenaline in that.
Better. Do better.
And who knows? Maybe she'll like Eureka get her shit together and then have a redemption the following week. So, are we ready to move on?
I just wanted to say really quick that I did
Sure.
like the Vixen's little addition of snow that she did. I thought that was very clever and kind of cute.
All right, so I got a question about that, and I'm glad you brought it up, Chester, because I forgot to discuss it. But since you brought it up, how many handfuls of shit did you think she had?
Well, they do that shot several times.
I know, but it seemed perpetual. These flakes that she was blowing for the most part, except for that one final, I was really kind of amazed by it. It was almost like it was a magic trick. And I was like, So yeah, I found that interesting in terms of how you kind of pitch things. But yeah, no, I mean it was, but then again, remember our discussion from All Star season 3 about shtick, and that kind of thing, like, and stunts and things of that nature. I get that it goes with the outfit, but I'm starting to wonder, like, when is it theatricality for the look and when is it distractionary?
Right.
So, and I'm not saying that the Vixen was trying to distract. I just think it was an interesting element.
She's also not the only one who was doing the blowing out the hand thing. Dusty did as well. So
True. Very true. Anything else before moving on? Okay.
Gentlemen, start your engines and may the best woman win.
All right, last call. Final impressions before we get ready for another episode already. Just a couple days with episode 5. In fact, I don't know if I remember seeing what episode 5 is offhand. But Smashy, what about you? Like, was there anything in particular that is your final impression from this episode moving forward?
meh. The Untucked was way more interesting than the episode itself. And I mean, we have the preview from what I saw, the preview, unless there's a fake out, which is entirely possible. I think Miss Cracker is going to end up with the Vixen as a pair for a acting or a comedy improv challenge. And it's not going to go well because the Vixen's not funny.
Yeah. And if they do that kind of a matchup, I wonder how that will, like, if it'll be you get judged based on your performance or if you get judged as a team. Not that you would get eliminated as a team per se, although that's always a possibility in that case.
Or if this is the week that, a certain queen with the DUI gets hauled back to where they come from.
We shall see about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still kind of wondering a little bit about that. There seems to be some drama. For those of you that are not aware, it's been online speculated or rumored and discussed and posted that apparently a queen has a DUI and should not have left to go to LA or something. to be on the show, which I'm kind of thinking is against the contract terms of being a contestant on the show. So that could be a little bit of drama. Chester, any final impressions or thoughts regarding us going into next week?
No. This episode was weird for me. I don't know if it was just this weekend or what, but I was just not very into the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I was mostly more invested in the Untucked than I was in the episode. And I agree with you, Chester, that I really like my overall feeling was meh. Like, I don't. It feels weird that episode 4 felt so filler.
Right.
But maybe it's because there wasn't much drama or, whichever from there.
It just seemed very rote.
Yeah, and like we talked about, at the beginning, if in episode 4 we're turning out what we think comes later, it makes me wonder what does come later. I mean, does this mean that we've rewrote the format of the entire season to say we're going to move the later stuff to the front and introduce newer things later on to up the game factor?
It'll be stunt queens performing actual stunts, like riding on a flaming unicycle.
Bring back Ivy Winters, because she does that kind of stuff.
We could use some stilts and some butterfly wings.
Yeah, we could use
Call Chanel.
Call Chanel. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just realized how exciting would it be for All Stars season 4. We'll talk about that in a second. If they brought back the queens that all do that kind of stuff that people might consider like, circus work, and made them like do their theatricality stuff on stage. Like, so between Violet, even though she already won. Oh wait, we already did it with BB. So it doesn't matter. If we bring back Violet and doing like, aerial stuff, and then we have Chanel with flaming clubs and Ivy, on stilts. Maybe it shouldn't be that. Maybe not a competition. We'll just create a drag queen circus show. What do you think? Maybe? Kind of?
Cirque du Sachet?
Cirque du Sachet. Too much. All right. So, yeah, my final impression was kind of meh. I want to talk about All-Star Season 4. Did you guys see that supposedly there's a promo that it's coming out already next year?
I thought that was fake.
I thought so too. That's why I'm asking. Like, do we think this is legit? There's going to be an All-Star Season 4 next year already.
Christ, I hope not.
I think it's fake.
All right. So it kind of sounds like maybe all three of us are on the same page. Like, Smashy, you kind of hope not. And Chester, you think it's a fake. What are your thoughts if there really was going to be one?
I think it's a bit too soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am really praying and hoping it's not true, because I need a break. I hate saying that, but I need a drag race break. Love drag queens, love RuPaul's Drag Race. I need a break. I need my brain to calm down, because there's only so much yes queen that I can handle in my life and in my system. And so I kind of need to chill and reset. So if we just kind of wait and then we go to season 11, I'm okay with that.
Well, I felt the same way when they announced season 10 was going to come right on the heels of All Stars 3, which we now know is basically a PR move because of how things happened. But that also, it also completely fucks over Sasha. Just like the way that the seasons are now.
Right.
So to have another All Stars so soon, it's too much. It's just too much.
I love how Ginger T-Time says in live chat, it can't be that soon. I'm already suffering from burnout. Oh, I just had a funny vision of like a RuPaul Drag Race anonymous class session. Hi, my name's Gary. Hi, Gary. I suffer from RuPaul's Drag Race burnout. We know.
That could be a t-shirt.
Girl.
Too funny. Well, that being said, is there anything else before we wrap up of the show?
Not for me.
If you would like to get in touch with us, there are plenty of ways to do that. You can go to our website and kind of read about the blog and stuff that's going on there, cubsoutloud.com. You can also send us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. You, of course, could leave us a voicemail, and we would like to play it on the show for you. You can call us at 361-COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. And, of course, on the social media groupings, you can pretty much find us anywhere as Cubs Out Loud. That's all one word. That would be Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, I believe. And also, if you go to Telegram, which you may not have necessarily heard of, it's kind of like Facebook Messenger, but I think cooler. To join the COL Drag Race group of discussion, which I now need to get caught up on, you can type in tinyurl.com/Telegram and then hyphen COLDR in caps, and then I'll get you in there via the link for an invite. Also, if you're interested, none of us have any on currently, but at Zazzle.com/Cubs Out Loud, we have Cubs Out Loud merch. And we've just started putting in some items for COL Drag Race, which is our Bearhead logo. It has a little crown and it says Drag Race. So that would be pretty cool. Also, if you would like to support us, you can do that at patreon.com/Cubs Out Loud. And for as little as $1 a month for 12 bucks a year, basically the price of a pizza once a year, you could actually support Cubs Out Loud with our goal to get some equipment upgrades and other fun stuff. And plus, then not only do you get kind of like early release on some of the episodes, but there's going to be some goals that we're working towards, so come join the family. If you listen to us or watch us in audio type, video podcasting land on iTunes, you can rate us. You can give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio or whatever platform you use. Give us the feedback. We'd appreciate it. Let folks know. I happen to be Gary, but I go by GareBear73 online if you want to get in touch with me. Chester, what about you?
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There, or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
And extra special guest host, Smashy. What about getting in touch with you?
Well, if you want to get in touch with me, you can look for Smashy the Floof, and that's on Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to talk to me on Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to get in touch with me on Telegram, it's Pup Baron. But everywhere else is basically Smashy the Floof.
Got it. Well, that was our recap show, and so now we're gonna take it to the moon. Get it, Chester? Ah.
Bang, zoom.
One of these days, Alice. One of these days.
Have a good night, everybody.